Imagine you are a hunter 50,000 years ago. No weapons strong enough to take down a lion. No walls to hide behind. You are not the strongest animal out there. You are not the fastest. By every measure, you should be prey. But something unexpected was happening. Animals were not just tolerating ancient humans. Some of them were coming closer. And scientists studying this behavior today found something that nobody predicted. The relationship between ancient humans and wild animals was nothing like what we assumed. And once you understand what was actually going on, you will never see your pet, your food, or even yourself the same way again. For most of human history, ancient humans and wild animals lived in the same spaces, same rivers, same forests, same hunting grounds. They watched each other constantly, and over thousands of years, something quietly started to shift. Researchers studying ancient cave paintings found something interesting. Early humans did not just paint animals as food or as enemies. They painted them with detail and care that goes way beyond what you would expect from someone who only sees animals as a meal. The expressions, the postures, the relationships between animals in those paintings. These were people who had spent enormous amounts of time simply watching, observing, understanding. And animals noticed that too. Here is something most people do not know. Animals do not just react to what you do. They react to how you move. A tense body means threat. Slow, calm movement means something else entirely. Ancient humans who spent their whole lives around wildlife naturally developed a way of moving through the world that animals could read. And some animals started reading it as safe. The first real evidence of this comes from dogs. Around 15,000 years ago, wolves began separating from their packs and moving closer to human camps. Not because humans invited them, but because the wolves themselves made a choice. The ones that were less afraid, the ones that could tolerate being near humans without running, those wolves got access to leftover food, warmth, and protection. And over generations, those calmer wolves became something new entirely. They became the first domestic dogs. The first animal that looked at a human and decided to stay. But dogs are just the beginning. Here is where the story gets really unexpected. It was not just wolves. All across the ancient world, wild animals began showing behaviors around humans that made no survival sense at all. In December of 2005, a diver named James Mosquito got a call about a humpback whale tangled in crab lines off the coast of California. When his team reached her, she was wrapped in over 20 lines, hundreds of pounds of equipment dragging her underwater. She could barely breathe. For 1 full hour, divers worked underneath her with knives, cutting line after line. And that whale, an animal the size of a school bus that could have killed every single diver there with one movement, stayed completely still and let them work. When the last line came free, she did not swim away. She came back. She nudged each diver gently, one by one, before finally heading out to open water. Scientists call this behavior associative learning. Animals do not need to understand your intention. They just need a pattern. And the pattern ancient humans created over thousands of years was simple. Sometimes being near a human does not end badly. Sometimes it ends better than anything else available. Wild elephants in Kenya with snare wounds have been documented walking directly toward ranger vehicles, the same kind of vehicle that treated them as calves years earlier. They did not remember the specific person, but something in their memory held onto a category. That kind of thing did not hurt me. A seal off the coast of New Zealand once leaped directly into a fisherman's boat while orcas circled nearby. It did not try to swim to shore. It went straight for the one thing in the water that the orcas could not follow. It used a human as terrain. So what does all of this actually tell us about ancient humans? It tells us that our ancestors were not just hunters moving through the animal world taking what they needed. They were a presence that the animal world was actively learning to read. And some animals, the ones with the biggest brains, the longest memories, the most complex social lives, elephants, whales, dolphins, wolves, they started making a calculation that no other predator in history had ever triggered before. Maybe this one is different. That calculation did not happen overnight. It took thousands of years of ancient humans moving through the world in a way that was readable, predictable, and occasionally genuinely useful to the animals around them. And slowly, the most intelligent creatures on Earth started taking a risk that went against every instinct they had. They chose to stay instead of run. That decision changed everything. The wolf that stayed became the dog sleeping next to you tonight. The animals that tolerated human presence near water sources made it easier for ancient humans to hunt, to survive, to stay in one place long enough to build something. The entire story of human civilization has animals woven all the way through it. not just as food or as threats, but as partners in a relationship that neither side fully understood. And here is the part that should stay with you. Every wild animal alive today is descended from creatures that survived by avoiding humans at all costs. And yet some of them still do this. A whale is still under a knife. An elephant walks toward the thing that should terrify it. A dolphin finds a stranger in open water and simply waits. After 50,000 years of us being the most dangerous thing on this planet, some animals still look at a human and make the same quiet decision those first wolves made at the edge of a firelit camp. Maybe this one is different. And honestly, they are not entirely wrong.